Sophie, welcome to Beta International 2017. I'm outside the champion stand with the lovely Sophie Wells. How are you?
Hi, good. How are you?
Yeah, really good. I feel like I want to help you because you've got 3 amazing medals around your neck.
They're a little bit heavy, I'm not going to lie.
Oh, okay. Do you wear them? Do you wear them often, or just to showcase? Like, I'd have mine tight somewhere, security-wise, locked up.
No, they actually just live in my bag at the moment because they go out all the time. So I was doing a talk last night, so they were out last night for everyone to see, and obviously here at Beta today they're out as well. So they just they travel around quite a lot. Yeah.
Can you talk me through Rio then? What was it like for you?
It was amazing, actually. It was my first away game, so London was my home games and it was my first game, so it was going to be a bit of a challenge to try and top that. But Rio, it was an incredible place to be. It was very mixed culturally, very different. And we went out to do the best that we could do. I didn't have that individual gold medal for London, so I was really focused on my performance, and hopefully my performance would then earn me that individual gold that I was, I suppose, hoping for so long. And thankfully it went really well on individual day, and yeah, the emotion that came out I think just proved how much it actually meant and how long we've actually worked for it through all my team, my sponsors like Toggy and Champion that have backed me for so long. It's just really nice to be able to kind of give a bit back and say, okay, thank you for helping me, and I tried my best and it was good enough that time. So yeah, it was a really incredible experience, and one I won't be forgetting for a while.
I'm not surprised. Well, the first thing is, are you now training for the next 4 years for the next one?
Absolutely. So Tokyo is on the horizon now. My reserve horse George for Rio is hopefully going to step up and be my top horse, and then I'm on the lookout at the moment for a younger horse to bring on and hopefully maybe back him up for Tokyo. And
what sort of age then are you looking for?
Probably between 5 and 7 at the moment, because then by the time we get to Tokyo in 3 years' time, it's scary that it's even 3 years now. It was 4 years, but yeah, hopefully then it'll be established enough and experienced enough to be able to actually perform. So it's quite hard looking for your next dancing partner, and there's high expectations as well. So yeah, it's not easy.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I want to find you a horse now,
okay.
just to watch that, progression over the next few years, and then the ultimate emotion of then being in Tokyo with a horse that you've trained.
Yeah, I mean Reese, who I took to Rio, I've had for 10 years now. So I've had him from a baby, and I've done all the work with him, and it's just really special. You think actually how much you've gone through, the hardships that you've gone through, and the challenges, and then actually those rewards, they might just be a few minutes on the top of the podium, but it completely outweighs everything else.
Doesn't time just stop when you're on there?
Yeah, it's really weird. It is really weird. It's a feeling that you can't really explain to anyone, but to stand there and to see your flag go up and the national anthem play, it's definitely the biggest honour that you can have, and it was just very special for it to happen there.
Well, congratulations. I'm so pleased for you. While you were on the podium, I couldn't help but look at your hat. I loved it. I've got one here actually. It's just like, so we're going to show. So this is because you're an ambassador for Champion.
Yep.
So you get to wear the Great British flag on top of it.
Yeah,
nice.
So this was actually specially made for Rio. We had all the process videoed, and then actually obviously going into the kit box and to fly out, and then obviously training and competing in it over there. It's really special, and I love the hats. They're so comfortable. I ride a lot a day, and to have a hat that is so comfortable on your head is really important, and then obviously it being really protective as well is essential.
Now, we had a little chat earlier, and so this one is your competition hat that you use,
yep.
But you have a training hat as well, which I find fascinating, because us paupers can only have one hat. You get 2.
Yeah.
So why do you need 2 hats?
Mainly, obviously, I have a special hat that obviously I compete in. I wouldn't want to wear that every day because it won't look as good when you go and compete. But also, I train every day in awful conditions sometimes, and obviously the hat takes the brunt of it. And
they get a bit sweaty.
And obviously, if you fall off, then you need to get that replaced as well. So I try and keep that one for best, and then have a good training hat for at home, and then sometimes actually have a better training hat for when I go away. So because Champion have such a massive range of hats and styles, it's
This is Lickett here, who are good friends of Horse Hour, but this is Sophie. Have you met Sophie before? Nice to meet you. You enjoy beta, won't you? No. So, Sophie, I'd love for you to introduce us to the lead educator of Champion, which is Glanville, who is going to... Glanville, would you like to come in? Thank you so much. So it's lovely to meet you. Thank you for joining us. So you fitted Sophie's original hat that she took to Rio, but Sophie needs a new training hat as well. So we were hoping you could guide us through some tips of what we'd need to find a new hat for Sophie.
Right, well initially obviously Sophie knows her size, so I haven't had to measure the head or anything. So we're looking at a 7 1/8 normally to fit Sophie, which is the same size as a showing hat. So we don't need to go through the labouring of measuring and all the rest of it. So we've got a hat here which is the correct size. So what we're looking to do when we put this on is to make sure that the hat, when I put it on her head...
That's a nice hat. Okay, so we're just fitting that so that it's not too tight, I'm guessing?
It should be tight but not uncomfortable. Okay, so, and we want it to sit just above the eyebrows there, so as the full part of the skull is covered and we're giving absolute protection right down to the bottom edge of the skull. There is one area though that you do need to make sure there's a very, very small gap, and that's just on someone's temples here, so just there.
Just turn your head to the left. Okay, just under the temple.
A very, very small gap. If you get pressure on that artery there, it causes a headache across the top of the eyebrows. So that's one thing when you fit in you look for. Nice snug fit, but a slight gap on the temple there. And obviously sitting nice and low so as the whole of the skull is protected.
Well, the issue that I have at the moment is sunlight. So when the sun's coming through...
about the sun.
Oh, really?
We like the sun.
We like the sun. But is it supposed to... I mean, what are the peaks for? Are they supposed to block the sun?
It's really to start with, a slightly, I suppose you'd call traditional. Going back to the days of a riding hat when there wasn't a helmet, we all had peaks. The old idea was it protected your face on a facial impact on the ground, and I suppose really now it's just traditional look more than anything else. It doesn't detract from protection, it doesn't really add to the protection nowadays because these peaks are flexible.
Oh,
so
because I have
break
wondered
away in an accident.
Yeah, so I've wondered that if you fall, then is that going to cause more damage? But they bend.
No, they'll bend away from the face. That's the idea. Yeah.
So one of my issues at the moment, I mean, and you needed a new hat today anyway, is that I've had my hat for a really long time, and it started to feel a little bit loose inside and a bit wobbly.
They will stretch a little bit with use. Right. We jokingly say they grow a little bit, which they do. So really every 3 or 4 years you should consider replacing your hat or your helmet, purely because they wear in, and also if you do anything really energetic you're going to perspire, the moisture will go through the lining, which then reduces the protection that the lining will give.
Do you ever clean your hat? Can you clean hats?
You can clean the fabric inside, but you can't clean the polystyrene, which is a substance that gives you the protection. Yeah. So
can't put it in the washing machine because I have been.
That's an absolute no.
I thought it would be okay.
You can buy purpose cleaners, and we would always recommend you only use purpose cleaners because otherwise there's a risk of your skin making contact with any residues. Right. So yeah, always use a purpose cleaner if you're going to clean one.
So if we're thinking about taking on a new hat, then what are your 3 top tips that you could think of?
Buy one that fits you properly is the most important tip. A good tight fit but not uncomfortable. Make sure you've got this gap here, otherwise 20 minutes after you put it on you're going to have a headache. And last but not least, and probably just as important as all the rest, make sure the harness is done up properly. Too many people ride with this under the chin too loose. So we would be looking at it to look like that. Feel it but not uncomfortable again, but no gap underneath here. Otherwise the helmet will not perform correctly in an accident. There's a risk of movement.
So, Sophie, do you like that hat?
I like it, yeah. I want to take it home today.
You need to find one. So,
Yeah.
shall we go and have a little look and
Let's
maybe
go.
pick out? Do you like colours? Do you like sparkles, or are you more
Like
of
a little bit of sparkle, but nothing too much. But obviously something a little bit plain as well, just because it is an everyday training hat. So, but Champion have a massive range, so it's always exciting every year to go and have a look round and see what they've got coming out.
Well, we'll go and have a little shop now. Thank you so much for your time. We can follow you on Twitter. We can follow you, Sophie, on Twitter as well. And if you need any more advice on hat fitting, then feel free to speak to the lovely guys at Champion. I'll speak to you soon.